So we'll just go over some variations of these poses, the shoulder stand. So from shoulder stand, you know, we already went over, you can do that self-adjustment. We went over some other adjustments. And then there's some other things that we can do. You know, if I say people, if you get bored, you can do this on shoulder stand. So just opening the legs out wide, kind of this wide angle. The feet here. You know, you can breathe here, or you could come back together and open up. So any variation like this. You can bring the soles of the feet together, opening the knees out. Then from here you can kind of rock side to side if you want, or twist rather. Yep. There we go. Beautiful. Or another variation, you can just let the feet kind of wander out everywhere, just straight and just wandering wherever they want to go. So no, some people will like to go to one spot and hold it. Some people kind of like that free flow. Yeah. So we come back up to shoulder stand, or yeah, do that one more pose. So you can come into lotus here. It's a great pose if you can do lotus. Great. And then coming back up. And then as we come down to plow, we can lower the right leg down and leave the left leg up. So this is a, you know, great kind of way to kind of add a little bit to the class as you're transitioning into the plow, and you can lift that leg back up and then lowering the other leg down. Beautiful. So you can see, depending on flexibility, some people will come down and some people won't quite come down. And you can lift up again, and then lowering both feet down into the plow. Beautiful. So then from here, there's several hand variations. This is a great one with the hands on the floor, kind of interlacing, kind of working the palms together. Or you can reach around and grab your toes with your hands. You can either grab your big toe or the kind of the outsides of your feet. And this, you know, releases the shoulders a little bit. Sometimes it feels a little nicer on the back. So there's always a tendency, once we bring the shoulders around, for the hips to kind of push down towards the bottom of the mat, so the spine is a little bit more, not quite as vertical, which is fine. So there's several variations here. If we walk the toes towards the head, you know, the hips come, it's almost like a forward bend, and then if we walk the toes as far away, there she goes, as far away from the head as possible, just keep walking the toes, you might not be able to grab them. Then the hips can come actually over the head, beyond the head. So it's just a little kind of, there's a spectrum of the poses there. And then another variation is you can point the toes. So bringing the tops of the feet to the floor. That just changes the pose a little bit. Then you can bring the toes back to the floor. We'll walk the feet wide in this position. Yeah. Then if you're comfortable, you can point your hands up at the sky, bringing the palms together between the legs. Beautiful. Nice. And then bringing the hands back down and bringing the legs back together. And go ahead and bring your hands behind your back again. And then walking the feet over to the right side. Kind of try to keep the hips as vertical or as on top of the body as you can, and then walking over to the other side. So there's so many variations we can do. Or you can come back to center, and then bending the knees, letting the knees come towards the floor next to the ears, and we can actually hug around the legs and kind of grabbing the ears over the legs. So I'm cupping the ears, the elbows pointing up towards the sky. Beautiful. So we can kind of come over the legs. I guess it's under from your perspective, maybe. There we go. Beautiful. So this one's, sometimes for me, it's really hard to breathe here. So we can go ahead and come out, just coming out of the pose however you like. So in a plow, especially in some of these variations where we're really hugging in, the ribs are constricted, and sometimes it's hard to breathe, especially in the morning. So just be aware of that. You know, sometimes there's a kind of a scariness for people when they come into the plow. We can lower down. Oh, no, actually, let's stay up here. I'll do a variation coming down. You can lower down. So bring the hands on the low back. And bring the right leg up, and we'll bring it all the way over all the way down, and then the other leg down, and then we'll bring the right leg back up and over, come back into the plow, and again coming over with the other leg. So I usually do one leg over, the same leg back, the other leg over, the other leg back, and then coming back up. And then do you ever do it with two legs? So if you want to spot this, you can just kind of catch their thigh as they come down, because it's pretty tricky. Especially, you definitely want to spot this if somebody's doing it for the first time. And then kind of keep the hands on the low back if it's comfortable, and walk the feet towards the bottom of the mat. So you're kind of straighten out the legs here as far as they'll go. Beyond the mat, no limits. Beautiful. And then walking back up, and we can lower back down. Beautiful. Nice. Hugging the knees into the chest. So let's do some variations of the bridge pose. Again, outsides of the feet parallel. And we can inhale, lifting up. So I'll just do one other adjustment, is we can kind of get in here and just, just gently thinking about lengthening the spine. So I'm kind of walking myself up there. And the thighs are so strong here, so people have pretty good control. The muscles are not really a limiting factor in terms of strength in this pose. So by really tugging on somebody, we're probably not going to be helping out that much. But by kind of guiding them and showing them where they can move deeper, that's what we're going to be helping in this pose. So there's no reason to really tug that hard. Beautiful. You can try to lift one leg up into the air. And then lowering down and going up with the other leg. And going down. Beautiful. I'm trying to think of other variations we might do here. There's the different hand positions. Depending on flexibility. Sometimes people can reach their heels, sometimes they can't. I guess those are the main, it's a pretty basic pose. So we can lower down from here, and we'll move into the wheel. So the wheel is kind of the next progression from the bridge. So the hands under the low back, or under the shoulders. And we'll inhale, lift up onto the head, and kind of look back, point the elbows back, and then we can take another breath and lift all the way up. Beautiful. So do two different, wheels here. She's pretty open, you can see her arms pretty straightening out. I'll just try an adjustment here. So I'm going to bring my shins just on the outside of the elbows to kind of support those and bring those into alignment. And I'll grab right behind kind of the shoulder blades here, and I can just gently lift up. And she's so light, I'm not going to push hard. Somebody who's stronger, like him, I might lift a little harder. But we can just kind of pull here. And again, making sure that I'm protecting myself. Let's go ahead and come back down. I don't want you guys to get too tired, and then I'll try to adjust you. You can hug the knees in. So you always make sure you have enough energy to come down with control, out of any pose, especially in some of these where you're kind of anti-gravity and you have to come down with control. Because that's part of the pose too, is the coming down. Then when you're ready, you can do another wheel. Beautiful. So you can see his shoulders are a little tight. Probably some tightness in the hips too, in the hip flexors. Mm-hmm. So I'm supporting his elbows with my legs, and then I'm kind of keeping my back straight, and then I'm just kind of leaning back and lifting him up. And so he's strong, and it's an anti-gravity pose, and I feel like I can actually pull pretty hard here. And he's breathing. You can see he's moving each breath a little deeper. And there we go. And then we can lower back down. So when we come down, the shoulders are going to come down first. Tuck the chin into the chest. So the shoulders are going to come down. And then the head comes down. Nice. Then we can hug the knees in again. Do you ever lift your one leg up into the air or anything?
Not usually.
Okay.
Want to try it?
Yeah, we can try it. Sure. So you can just lift whichever leg up feels like you can go and just try to point it straight up into the sky. So I'm going to support here a little bit and go straight up, 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 up. Is it going to go more? There we go. Beautiful. And down. And then the other side. Beautiful. She's got it. And down. You know, sometimes people will lift one leg and the opposite hand up. It's pretty tricky to do that. And we can lower back down. And then one more variation is the elbow wheel. Do you know the elbow wheel?
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, so you're going to bring the elbows to the floor. So you can just come up onto your top of your head like you're doing the wheel.
Okay.
And then just bring one elbow to the floor and then the other elbow to the floor. Beautiful. So try to bring the elbows a little bit together. Yeah, so the head will lift up and you kind of push the chest up towards me, and you can, it's a really good shoulder opener. And sometimes you feel it a little bit more right in the low back area because there's quite a bit of an arch there. You know, so this is the elbow wheel. Is your head up?
No.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
there we go. And we can you lower back down? I don't want you to hurt your neck here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a little bit more, just a little bit variation. It's a great variation. Maybe I'll demonstrate it actually, because I think I can do this one sometimes. So kind of come up onto the top of the head, bring the hands under,
Wow.
and then we can, you know, support it. So I guess my head is still on the floor. I can lift it up like half an inch. But it's a good shoulder opener, good heart opener. So I guess those are the main variations of the back bends that we do in this sequence. And then the fish, I guess we can do some variations for the fish. Oops. So we'd only want to do these variations if people are pretty established with fish, and we know they have strong necks, and we kind of know the students. Otherwise, we don't want them to lift their elbows up. So if you feel comfortable, you can bring your hands in prayer in front of your heart. So this is going to take quite a bit of neck strength and back strength to support it. You can even point your fingers at your heart, and kind of, you can have a little pressure, just like a tapping of the heart here. Sometimes it feels pretty nice to just kind of tap the heart. Or you can bring your arms out in front and up, and then maybe even lifting the feet up about a foot off the floor. Beautiful. And then we can slowly lower back down. So we want to bring the elbows down and lift the head up and lower down. Beautiful.